So Mark, the Golden Knights, they're going to clinch most likely, and we're not going to curse them or anything, on Tuesday night at home at T-Mobile Arena. And customers, fans will be buying $44 margaritas. Life is good in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about insane prices at EDC and all that stuff, and $44, man. I mean, I know that sports are always quite a bit expensive, $10 beers or whatever, but $44 for just like a small cup of margarita seems not like it's not even those big yard things you get at baseball games and stuff. It's just a cup of margarita. They're already paying hundreds or thousands of dollars to get into the stadium. That blows my mind. 44, it's just robbery. It's wrong.
Now, I think it was a double, so there you go. So to be fair, but did you see the prices though for resale? They're like $1,500 and above for tickets for Tuesday night's game. Everybody wants in to see them win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. It definitely, and I know that somebody paying $1,500, the Knights aren't making that money. You know, they're just making the money off of selling the original ticket. But still, I mean, let's do like $10 drinks. What are we doing here? $44.
$10 drinks? Where can you get a $10 drink on the strip, let alone in an arena? Come on. Mark, so did you see the complaints? Harry Reid International Airport ranked as, I think, tied for 11th with most complaints per tweet. It's some weird metric that Price for Limo used. But Detroit's airport, I noticed when you look at actual complaint tweets, Detroit comes in at number 11, Harry Reid in Las Vegas number 34. You're always saying how good Detroit's airport is, but it seems like Harry Reid did better this time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what people would be complaining about. It's not overly busy in Detroit. You know, they have a lot of food and options. And I don't know if this is tying into delays and people complaining about a specific airline at, you know, the airport. Because seeing that Newark is way down the list in complaints, as is LaGuardia, makes me think that this whole whatever system they're doing for tweets is stupid.
Now, they also looked at which airlines had the most complaints as part of this, and Southwest was by far number one with 35% of the complaints, and that's because of all their meltdowns that they had in the last year, and that probably affected the complaints about Las Vegas too, because Southwest is such a big airline here. But I think, you know, McCarran/Harry Reid Airport is one of the best in the country. I've flown through most of the major airports numerous times, and I think it's one of the easiest ones to get in and out of, to get around. Security lines don't seem to be long compared to some airports, so I like it. Now, Allegiant Airlines, surprisingly a low-cost carrier, they came in among the top. Only 2% of all the tweets were complaints about Allegiant, so I guess they're doing pretty good, even though, you know, they're a low-cost carrier.
That's who my parents fly when they come to visit me out of coming up from Florida and stuff. And they did get stranded once. The problem with them is they don't have a lot of planes in circulation. So if you get stuck or a mechanical issue, they were stranded for like 10 hours one day before they could fly out. So you run into issues there. But I always love that Hawaiian's always very high on this list is because they don't have any issues with weather on all their routes. So yeah, okay, you fly from sunny to sunny. It's pretty easy.
Or maybe it's just because they have that aloha hospitality. What are you trashing Hawaiian Airlines for? Come on now.
Funny enough, like you know, I booked a award deal to Hawaii, and I'm trying to find my way back, and the best deal I've been able to find so far, and this is like later next year, far out as the schedule goes, is Hawaiian from Maui to Vegas, and it's 20,000 points per person. You can transfer membership rewards. So if you're in the Vegas area and you want to fly to Hawaii, definitely check Hawaiian's program. They have some good deals, and I don't know if I know it's a newer route, so maybe they're pricing it to get that kicked off and everything, but that was probably the best deal off the island I could find.
That's surprising to hear, because when I've looked for award availability, a lot of times those direct flights, and you're right, they've always had the Honolulu to Las Vegas flight, but they added the Maui one, and usually I found award availability to be terrible and the prices to be more on those direct flights. So usually I go down to either San Diego, Los Angeles, somewhere like that to fly to Hawaii, but we're getting off on our travel bent here. But it's an interesting thing. You guys can look at all of this. Allegiant ranking pretty high, Southwest pretty low. Does that surprise you? What do you think? What's your least favorite airport, your favorite airport? Hit us up in the comments and let us know. I think we covered this a few months back, Mark, about the Super Bowl wanting volunteers, but they put out another call this month, I guess, and you have through August to apply, and they're going to hire 7,000 people. They're not going to pay you anything. You're not going to get a ticket to the game. You're not going to get into Allegiant Stadium because yeah, they don't want any volunteers for Allegiant Stadium. I guess that's already taken care of. So I guess you're going to be an ambassador around the city, helping people working at different venues. But it could be cool to be part of the game, and maybe you'll get a little swag, like you say.
Yeah, I mean, they do this for all sporting events, even though it annoys me. Like, pay people minimum wage at least, and then give them swag. You're making hundreds of millions of dollars off this one game. It's pretty insane that they're asking for handouts, but that's what we've seen from sports teams. That's what they do. So, yeah, if you want to be a part of it, to be like, hey, I worked at the Super Bowl, I can see why there's a draw to it and that they don't need to pay someone, but at least give them some really cool swag. I'm sorry, the kids call it merch these days, Sean.
All right, cool merch / swag for
we're
everybody.
aging ourselves.
Swag. I don't All right, so Formula One has an interesting thing. I mean, we talked about them on the last show, how they're asking for more money, but a couple of developments happened this week. The Mirage grandstands went on sale, and a 3-day ticket is about $2,200, plus they have VIP packages for the hotel that go to $10,000, $11,000, include alcoholic drinks, all of that. But the interesting thing I saw was F1 in their paddock building is going to launch the Skybox. Now, tickets for this are $10,000 for a 4-day ticket, and that includes access to the shared Skybox, access to the opening ceremony of Formula One, dedicated service team, and then all-inclusive food and beverage menu, including beer, wine, and spirits. But the coolest part about this entire venue is a throwback to old school Las Vegas. And from the renderings, it looks like they're spending a lot of money on this. This is like a permanent venue that'll be a part of the paddock. I mean, it looks so cool, and then you look at the price, $10,000. Oh man, I'd love to do it, but that's too much.
I know, but to these Grand Prix millionaires, it's like $500 to us, which would make a lot of sense. I just wonder, how early do they open up the doors? Can you get in there at like noon and start eating and drinking, even though the race is until 10? Like, when do you open up? If you got to try to cram all this into like a 3-hour period, you're not going to get much value out of it. But if it's something that you can like kind of go into and get liquored up and get your flow going before the race starts, I think it would be worth it.
Yeah, like try to get your money's back in drinks. How many drinks can you get
Popping
over
bottles,
the 4 days?
bang bang.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a cool place to hang out, and I'm sure it'll be full of classy, cool people paying those $10,000 prices. But of all the things I've seen so far, I think this is, I wouldn't want one of those $1 million packages, but if I had the money and it wasn't a huge deal, I think this would be the place to go. Because I think that's the best location to watch the race anyway, the paddock building at that big turn and the location of it, and then, having this like swanky, old school Vegas thing. And they're going to have entertainment there and a lot of stuff. So it seems like they're really going to do it nice. So props to Formula One for everything but the price.
Yeah, and you can pay for the dang road with all that money you're going to make off of it. So there you go. You don't need $40,000 from the city of Vegas.
Yeah, 40 million, yeah. So,
or a million.
We'll give them 40,000. It's okay.
Yeah, they'll give them 40,000.
So did you see the story? The Paris set up this bait room. So somebody was taking a screwdriver and basically breaking into rooms in Paris in the middle of the night. And there's a lot of confusing things about this story because it says most of the people were in the room when he did it. So I guess maybe he was being quiet and didn't, wake them up, or, I don't know. But he was mostly stealing cash. But then they somehow set up a bait room. He broke into the room. They had surveillance cameras there. Another kind of thing that in this is a reminder that there are no surveillance cameras in most of the hotel hallways in Las Vegas, and they do that for liability reasons. We learned that October 1st with that shooting at Mandalay Bay. But anyway, they caught the guy. He was using a screwdriver to somehow jimmy open the doors and a towel to kind of keep it propped open, and then he would steal the cash and move on. And I think he did 6 rooms in one night.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's scary too. You would think that your room gets broken into when you're not there, not while you're sleeping and using the people. And this is just a reminder, always deadbolt your room. Like that little latch, put it over there. That would make this probably not possible. I'm guessing the rooms he broke into didn't have it. I'm sure there's a way to get that off too, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. And if you're in there, you'll probably hear it. He's less likely to break in knowing people are there and there's a latch. So definitely, I always do that when I'm in a room. As soon as I get in, throw that deadbolt over. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I'm sure there's like door stops or stuff you can buy off Amazon if you really want to get crazy.
Yeah, you could probably get crazy, but I agree with you. That's the first thing I do as well, and it makes it almost impossible for them to get in the room. And then, you don't have to worry about them giving the same room to somebody else and them barging in on you in the middle of the night or doing whatever you do in Vegas, because we know people do some crazy things in their hotel rooms in Vegas. So
don't shame furries around here, or whatever they're called.
Privacy is important in your Las Vegas hotel room. That's all I got to say. But yeah, it's interesting they caught him with a bait room. I'd love to know how they baited him. How did they get him to go into that room? Like, how did he know what was in there?
Yeah, they're like, and I know he was looking through a peephole, but you can't really see a ton through a peephole. So what are they putting like the wallet right in front of the door and making it seem like, oh, that's not weird that there's $600 popping out of this wallet.
Yeah, like a treasure chest right there across the door that should have tipped him off, like on a Disney ride or something.
I mean, how many times have we said criminals seem to be stupid? So that probably did work.
Yeah, there you go. So an interesting picture posted by John Mahaffey on Twitter shows construction happening in front of Circus Circus, specifically in the area that would connect Slots of Fun to Circus Circus. I've long said that especially as dead as Slots of Fun is now and as sparse as it is, and they've taken out a lot of machines there, it just doesn't have the vibe that maybe it once did when you could get dollar hot dogs. I don't know if it ever really had a vibe, but I always said they should connect the buildings and then make Slots of Fun. Yeah, that dirty Vegas vibe. But I always said they should connect them and then make Slots of Fun the strip frontage of Circus Circus and renovate that and make it nice. I don't know if that's what they're doing here, but it's interesting to kind of speculate. They are doing something.
Yeah, I mean, that would make a lot of sense because you'd be easier access to get you into the casino, and definitely you want something better to draw you in versus what they have going on there right now. And I mean, that is kind of like an abandoned little area. Do something with it that add value to your resort and your investment. So I would like to see that. Throw a bar. I don't know. Do something cool. But yeah, if they're gonna redevelop it and connect it, would make a lot of sense because of how much stuff we've shown they pulled out and how bare it looks. Like, what else would you do with it at this point? It would make a lot of sense.
And the big news of this week is another sort of big transaction on the Las Vegas Strip. Siegel Group, now they are known in Las Vegas, Mark, for owning extended stay motels, long-term with weekly rental type of places. They have them all over town. They also own apartment buildings and things all over the country. So they're a big real estate development firm. They own Siegel's Bagel Mania right next to the convention center, along with an extended stay hotel right there. But they just closed on 10 acres across 3 separate parcels right on the Strip. So this is going to bring their total land up on there to 13 acres. They spent $75 million on this land. And I was just walking by there, a few weeks ago. In fact, when I did that construction video for Fontainebleau, I actually mentioned that this plot of land is going to get developed because I had heard some things. But this is, they haven't said what they're going to build there. This is right next to Peppermill, right in front of the convention center, across from Resorts World. And it's next to that site where the Riviera potential development could be. So, another thing that could possibly come to that area. And they said that it probably will.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great purchase on their part because that, we've talked about that part of the Strip really growing and it's going to continue to grow. And it's crazy how little the actual street frontage is. Like, they own a lot behind Peppermill and everything. So it's going to have to be something deep. I don't know what that would be. Hopefully it's not a, Super 8 motel. I don't know.
Well, Steven Siegel, president of the Siegel Group, this is what he said. We've been waiting years to acquire a large piece of land on the Strip and have been watching this site for a long time. When this opportunity presented itself, there was no question that we had to purchase it. This is a phenomenal property that will one day soon have a development worthy of such an irreplaceable location on the Strip. So, I mean, could it be retail that they put there? I mean, this is a hotel company, but generally they don't have the highest end hotels. Could we get that mid-tier hotel that we've been talking about? Get away from all the luxury, get something that the normal person wants to stay at? I don't know, but this is interesting. And by the way, Bagel Mania, if anybody hasn't been there, great bagels. It's a really cool place, interesting decor, it's worth a visit over off Convention Center Drive right in this area as well. So
you're making me hungry.
Yeah, no, it's a great place. But yeah, it's interesting, and this is another big land purchase. We've talked about so many other things. In fact, on the next show, we'll talk about all the potential new casinos and casinos under development and everything else in Las Vegas, because it seems like, the economy, people have thought it's, not good and all this other stuff, and the numbers continue to be pretty good. We talked about how they flatlined and everything, but we see announcement after announcement. Now, we did see a lot of announcements in 2007, 2008, and, a lot of that stuff didn't get built. Tons of condo towers, projects that never happened. Obviously things like Fontainebleau that just got stopped. So, I mean, announcements are one thing. We'll see in a few years if all this stuff gets built. But it seems like there's a ton of confidence in the Strip and in the Las Vegas market.
Yeah, I mean, even though they flatline, it's still at all-time high levels. So there's still a lot of money flowing through. Grand Prix is going to probably bring record numbers of money, money in the area, probably more than a Super Bowl weekend or anything like that. So I think it'll be the craziest weekend we've seen. That's why I'm not going anywhere near it. But yeah, I mean, Vegas seems a little bit insulated from everything else that's going on. Inflation's crazy, but yet people are still flocking there, spending their money. I don't know where they're getting their money. I wish I had some of it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and it's kind of a cool time to be doing this show just because we get to talk about all of this stuff. And I'm in Norway right now on a cruise, and I'm not going to talk about the casino on the cruise ship. Jasmine hasn't had such great luck on this trip, but I did meet a viewer here and his brother who also watches the show. So it's just weird to be in Norway meeting an MTM Vegas viewer, but we love to meet people, and it's so cool to run into people.
Be honest, you saw that Succession when they go to Norway, and then you had to go, right?
I already had it booked, but yeah, that did look pretty spectacular. And but yeah, it's cool to meet people. It's cool to be here. So let us know in the comments what you guys think about anything we talked about. What are they going to build in that Spiegel new land? Another new player on the Strip. That Formula One paddock club. Throwback Vegas. Is it worth $10K? Is Harry Reid Airport really bad, or is it good? It's good, Mark. It's better than Detroit. Let's just be honest.
Oh, I don't know about that. I wish more of the Harry Reid stuff was behind security. So much of the good stuff is outside of security, which I find kind of annoying. So if they would just put the security and then have everything, it'd be great.
All right. Yeah. So is that true or not? Let us know down in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in just another couple days with a new show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
See you on Friday, wearing the same clothes.
Don't tell our secrets.